Hello students, this is Mr. Laubach. Thank you for joining me on this video on the Mexican-American War. Now the Mexican-American War lasted from 1846 to 1848, and the conflict shaped the contours of two nations and redefined borders in North America. Now before we dive into the Mexican-American War, it is essential to acknowledge the Texas Revolution, a precursor to the Mexican-American War. The Texas Revolution lasted from 1835 to 1836. Now, during the Texas Revolution, there was an iconic battle known as the Battle of the Alamo, which took place in 1836. The Alamo was a small Texas garrison, and the battle included famous figures like Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie. They held the Alamo against the overwhelming Mexican forces, led by General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Despite their valiant efforts, the defenders of the Alamo were ultimately overrun, and the battle ended in a tragic loss for the Texans. Remember the Alamo became a rallying cry for American forces in subsequent conflicts, including the Mexican-American War, symbolizing courage, sacrifice, and the fight for independence. The memory of the Alamo and the bravery displayed by its defenders became ingrained in American folklore, fueling sentiments of resilience and determination among those who fought to secure Texas's independence, and later to justify territorial expansion that would unfold during the Mexican-American War. Now, the Texas Revolution concluded with the Battle of San Jacinto in April of 1836, where Texas forces, led by Sam Houston, defeated the Mexican army, and Texas had gained their independence. Now let's move on to the Mexican-American War. The roots of the war lay in a dispute over the southern border of Texas after its annexation by the United States in 1845. Now, before being annexed by the United States, Texas was an independent country called the Lone Star Republic. The Rio Grande was claimed as the border by the U.S., while Mexico asserted that the Nueces River was the rightful boundary. So there was a boundary dispute. Tensions escalated as American troops under the command of General Zachary Taylor were stationed near the Rio Grande. Zachary Taylor would eventually become an American president. A skirmish erupted in April of 1846, leading to Congress declaring war on Mexico, igniting a conflict that would shape the destiny of both Mexico and the United States. Now, public opinion wasn't overwhelmingly in favor of going to war with Mexico. Public opinion was pretty split. The war was marked by notable engagements, including the battles of Palo Alto, Monterey, and Buena Vista. American military strategies, superior weaponry, and the leadership of figures like General Winfield Scott played a crucial role in securing the victories against the Mexican forces. The United States defeated Mexico. The war resulted in the deaths of around 13,000 American soldiers due to either battle or disease. Now, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848 concluded the conflict. Mexico gave vast territories, including present-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, part of Texas, and parts of Colorado, Wyoming, and Kansas to the United States. So picture the entire southwest corner of the United States was obtained by the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The aftermath of the war reshaped the demographic and cultural landscape of both nations. It also intensified the debate over the expansion of slavery into this newly acquired territories. Remember, slavery and the spread of slavery was the big issue of the day. The question was, would slavery be permitted or prohibited in these new territories? Shortly after the war, the Compromise of 1850 was a landmark legislative package aimed at diffusing tensions between free and slave states in the U.S. Crafted mostly by Senator Henry Clay, the great compromiser, it comprised several key measures. It admitted California as a free state, created the territories of New Mexico and Utah with the question of slavery to be decided by popular sovereignty, or allowing the residents of those territories to decide whether it will be a free or slave territory. It settled Texas's boundary and helped with their debt issues. It abolished the slave trade in Washington, D.C., but did not abolish slavery in Washington, D.C., and it implemented a more stringent fugitive slave law. The fugitive slave law would be the most controversial part of the Compromise of 1850. While initially intending to ease sectional conflict, the compromise only temporarily alleviated tensions and ultimately failed to resolve the underlying issue, contributing to the buildup of hostilities between the North and the South. As we wrap up, the Mexican-American War had a significant impact on the issue of slavery in the U.S., contributing to the escalating tensions between pro- and anti-slavery factions. The Mexican-American War stands as a turning point in history, altering geographical boundaries, shaping national identities, and setting precedents for future conflict over territory, sovereignty, and of course slavery, and the ultimate consequence was the Civil War. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the Mexican-American War. Thank you for joining me and have a great rest of the day.